Kristen.
And we're going to be your teachers this school year. So on the first day of school when you come, you're either going to come on Tuesday or Wednesday. You're going to be getting a backpack. And inside your backpack, there's going to be a folder that has all the information that you'll need to know to start out our school year with. And also in your backpack, there's some school supplies and a box of tissue and some other things in here. So this is for you to take home. You can keep the supplies at home, and if you want to carry the backpack every day to school, then you may do that. Or if you have another backpack that you would rather carry, that's fine too. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with our folder, the paperwork part. So inside your folder, there's going to be 2 packs of papers. We're going to go ahead and get started on the one that's titled Parent Orientation. This is an overview of the entire program. So the first part of the paperwork is the Education Philosophy Curriculum. So we're going to skip right to that. And it talks about the way we teach the children while they're in our care. We use a high school curriculum, and that's allowing the children to play in the classroom, and we observe them and take some notes, little tiny notes called anecdotal notes about what they're saying and how they're playing with their peers in the classroom. And then we take that information and we put it into our computers in a program called Core, and there's a pamphlet in here that talks a little bit more about that. And then we're going to go over the results of all of the notes that we put in for our first parent conference. So parts of our day, our daily routine, is we have a planning time, and the children can plan which area of the classroom they're going to work in. A work time, a cleanup time, and a recall time. So that's all the information about that is in that. You're also going to get a copy of our parent handbook. Looks like this. And inside the parent handbook, there's lots of information in there, probably answering most of the questions you might have about our program. We're going to give you a copy of our school calendar. From time to time, we may have to close due to weather emergencies. Unfortunately, we're dealing with COVID right now, so there might be some closures due to that. So one of the ways that we get information out to our families is through an all-call, also through that class tag that we talked to you a little bit about on the telephone. Hopefully I think most of you are already connected through that with us.
And if you can't get access to the internet or for some reason your phone's not working, you can get on to WTNS and listen to that on the radio or watch Channel 4 TV of Columbus. They'll also post it on that.
So the next couple pages talks a little bit about that. And then also in our classroom, we have video cameras that are on all the time. So we can go back and review that to help us understand why a behavior happened, or if we missed a little bit of something, we can go back and review. And that helps us become better teachers and more aware of what's happening in our classroom. So that's for our safety and for your child's safety. When the kids come to school, just dress them in everyday play clothes because we love to play, we love to paint. We have sandbox outside.
But do be sure to making sure you're paying attention to the weather that day. We will be playing outside mostly whenever we do large motor, as long as it's not too cold or not too hot. But do pay attention to the weather, making sure you're dressing your child appropriately. We don't want heat strokes or them getting too cold or something of that sort.
Okay, and then we also ask that you do not wear flip-flops or sandals on them. At our site, at the Hilltop site, we have cooks in our building that will prepare our meals, and they've all been looked at by an approved dietitian that looks at all of our meals to make sure that they're healthy. And
you are not allowed to send snacks from home. I know that birthday treats are a big thing. If you want to celebrate your child's birthday, but we do not accept birthday treats either. We want you guys to be able to celebrate with them at home for that. We will celebrate in our own special way here at school though.
couple of those pages that kind of talking a little bit more about the curriculum, but I've kind of touched base with you already. And another important information is called in-kind sheets. Those are activities that we'll send home from time to time for you to complete at home with your child. In-kind is a way that the federal government provides funds to us. So when you're educating your child at home, you'll sign a piece of paper that says you completed an activity with them, and then we get matching grant funds from the government. And that's one of the ways that Head Start stays.
There's lots of parent engagement activities that you can be involved in. You can be involved in the training and career development, parent center committee, policy council. There's a fatherhood initiative, health advisory committee. It is kind of important that we do have that parent engagement because that will help us to become better teachers, to relate to you guys as the parents, and also help to relate with the children.
Link this together. And then do you want to talk about when the kids want us to keep the kids at home?
Okay, so during the pandemic, or this is actually any time your child is sick, but especially during COVID, if your child has a fever of over 100 degrees, 3 diarrheas with no other symptoms, they could have 2 diarrheas with some other symptoms or vomiting, please keep your child at home for at least 24 hours after the symptoms have stopped. Cold, cough, sore throat, keep your child at home if the cold or cough is severe and it's not, but even if they don't have a fever, if it's a severe cold or cough, keep them at home. Stomach ache, it says to consult with your doctor if stomach ache is severe or lasts longer than 4 hours. A rash can be caused by many different things, but please keep your child at home if a fever is present or your child is feeling ill with the rash. You may be asked to have the rash diagnosed before returning. Especially during the COVID-19 pandemic, please refer to your reopening playbook. That will be sent home with you also to give you some insight on what the COVID-19 policy is.
Good.
There's some pages in here about the civil rights policy, health, attendance. Attendance is crucial. Your child must maintain at least an 80% attendance. So if your child needs to be absent or something of that sort, please call the school to let us know that your child is going to be absent. If your child is absent for 3 days and you have not contacted us at all, your family advocate on the 3rd day will be conducting a well visit. So they'll just come and check on you, making sure everything's okay. The attendance is tracked throughout the year, and if your child falls below 80% of the attendance, your family advocate will also contact you and figure something else out. We start class at 8 o'clock. Drop-off is between 7:45 and 8. If your child is not here by 8 o'clock, there will be nobody down there to pick up your child from the door. So if they're not here by 8 o'clock, then we will not be able to accept them for that day. So it's very crucial that they are here by 8 o'clock, no later. We are self-transport in this classroom, so you guys don't need to know about the school bus rules or anything of that sort. There's stuff on here for center parent information. There's some child abuse and neglect policies and stuff in there also. But that is your parent handbook that will be sent home so you can read it a little bit more in depth. I would keep this on hand at all times because, like I said, it has your health and your weather concerns in the book.
Okay, and just keep in mind too that as public school teachers, we are mandated by the state of Ohio to report any suspicion of child abuse or child neglect. Okay, so then here is a statement that you'll need to sign and date that you received the family handbook for the school year. That we have included a resource different organizations in our community that you may need help with, front and back on that. A little bit more about the policy council. The school calendar is in color, so you'll be sure to make sure that you hang that up on your refrigerator and keep track of that. Our headlights policy. So when you drop off your child in the morning, we do a quick health check. So we're looking from head to toe, just make sure that they are free of any communicable disease. There's information about poison control and the number that you could call in case something like that would happen at your home. No medications at school. I think probably our school nurse, Miss Katie, already has talked to you about any medication issues that you may have. Our safety policy is written out here too. Basically that says that no child will ever be left behind. So if we're outside on the playground playing and someone has to go to the potty, an adult that is that works for Coshocton County Head Start will bring them inside and go to the restroom and then walk them back outside as well. And if we do have an end of the pandemic during our school year, we possibly could go on a field trip. So there is information on here about how and when we would ride a school bus and some of the general information about that. And so we do have a checklist in there. If you could check that off and sign and date that, we'll have that on record just in case we get to go on a field trip. And then a little bit more information about that in kind and how important that is to our schools, school. All right, and then on the other side of your packet is the second group of papers. So this is our first home visit paperwork.
We won't be completing home visits, like coming to your home due to the pandemic. So we will be sending this paperwork home with you so you can fill it out and go through it.
Alright, so once again, we're reiterating the importance of having our video cameras in our classroom. Well, our social emotional part of our program is called Conscious Discipline, and this is a way that we guide the children and help them learn about their emotions and what to do with anger if they get angry, and help them through those things. A little bit more about our core. That's the information we'll be sharing with you during their first home visit. We always send home a blank copy of the enrollment form in case you have a friend or a neighbor that would have a child of Head Start age.
So you will not have to fill out this second enrollment form.
And that's just in case you have someone that might need our services as well.
So you don't have to fill that out and return it. Just share that with your friend if you have one to give it to.
What to expect if you have suspicion that your child might be delayed in any way. There's paper information here. Our manager for that is Deborah Wolf, and so that would be the person that you'll be hearing from. We're going to do a social emotional screener. It's called a DECA. That will pinpoint some areas of concerns, if there is any, to go over. Then we'll do that as well at the first parent conference. We do a program called Choosy Kids, so there's a little blurb in here about that. And the importance of physical activity and eating healthy. Here's the reminder about no sandals. Please wear shoes that have a back on them and an enclosed toe. So no toes are exposed.
And please be sure that the shoes that you do put on your child are comfortable for them. They'll be up moving a big part of the day, especially playing outside and in the classroom. Just making sure that it's comfortable for them so they're not wanting to take their shoes off throughout the day.
Right. And then another way that Kirsten and I will get to know your child better in our classroom is you're going to fill out a paper. It's called the monthly input. And that's just, it gives us how you feel your child's strengths are, what they'd like to do at home, what are their favorite things, any goals that you might have for that month for them. And then if you can sign or fill that out and sign it down here and fill it and give it back to us, that'll be awesome. And then so for our first in-kind activity, we have a visual routine. So the activity is explained on this paper. And then you're gonna be getting the in-kind paper as well, so keep track of the time that you spend doing this activity with your child. And then we're gonna get, credit for that through, grant monies. So the activity is, Kirsten's gonna talk to you about that for a little second here.
So in our classroom, we do a lot of visual routines. Our schedule's visual. It's important for the children to be able to relate, seeing like a picture or something of that in order for them for language and literacy. So the visual routines, the first one we're gonna send home with you. It's gonna be just about like an afternoon routine, basically. So we're gonna send home this paper, and it's got pictures all along the bottom. You can cut each of those pictures out, and we will send home a strip of just plain paper. It looks like a name strip on the back. And then you can just tape or glue the sequence of the pictures onto the strip. And then we will also send home a clothespin with you. Throughout the day, if, say this was in the classroom, we were playing outside, in or outside, you put it on that so they know, hey, this is what I'm supposed to be doing right now. And then you would say, okay, it's time to clean up. Let's move on to our next activity. The next one's eat dinner. So they would know to get prepared to eat dinner, sit down at the table, wash their hands, do what they need to do. Once you completely finish all the way through and you are laying down to go to sleep, praise is very important for a young child. So you could say something like, good job, you did it. You went through all of your evening routine and you completed all of the steps. And then you can just give them praise, thank them for something that they did that day. Just kind of give them some praise to make them feel good. So this will be our first one, and then like Karen said, fill this sheet out, sign it, making sure you keep track of the times because that's what gives us our funding for our program.
And also in your backpack, you're gonna get a toothbrush and toothpaste for your child to use at home. Dental, keeping healthy teeth is very important as well. And then we also have another sheet that's called the parent goals. So if you can please fill that out. So at the beginning of the year, we have goals that you're gonna want your child to meet. And then also in the classroom, we can support you by helping them meet that goal. So it might be kindergarten, you want them to be ready for kindergarten. Or you want them to recognize their name in print. Working on social emotional behaviors. Maybe they have some behaviors at home that you're not quite sure what to do. We can help you with be supportive of that as well. So those are some ideas. If you need any more ideas, we can help you fill this part out. Then you're gonna just sign on the top line. And then the next time we meet with you at our first parent conference, then we're gonna go over these goals to see if we've met that goal. We can come up with a new goal for the next period of time. Or if they haven't met that, then we can continue to support you and give you different ideas of how to meet that goal. So hopefully that all makes sense. Keep the papers at home that do not have a signature line. Everything else needs to come back to us at school.
Yep, anything that needed filled out, you can go ahead and put that probably back in the green folder. Send it back with your child. If you do keep that green folder in there, that'll be our way of communicating with you. We will put notes in there if you guys, if we needed to share something with you, important reminders, papers. If you guys have any questions or any concerns or anything of that sort, you can always call the Hilltop site, ask for Karen or myself. And then you can also, if you want to just write a note and put it in the folder, we will check their folders and making sure that we get that, and we will contact you any way that you would like us to go over that.
All right. I think we've covered everything.
Okay.
Good job. We can't wait to see you guys. Have a great weekend.